April 16th, 2007. This is Diehard Gamer Radio, episode 24.
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Are you ready? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go!
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. And now, your hosts, Murdock, Brian, John, and Steve.
Just a couple more shots.
Welcome back to Diehard Gamer Radio. I am Murdock, and as always, I have Brian, John, and Steve. Hello!
Yep, still here.
Yeah. Sorry we haven't been around for a month, but people have been
sorry.
Well,
one of us is sorry.
Murdock is sorry. The rest of us, we don't care.
We got to sleep in.
Yeah.
For a month.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Being a podcaster, it has incredible health benefits, including many days off.
Yeah. Otherwise we'd get sick of each other and, want to kill each other or something like that.
The salary is unusually low.
Yes. So we're going to start with our news bit, and our first news bit is the Xbox 360 Elite officially announced. Elite meaning black.
337.
Yeah, I think it's just a snub-nosed version of 360.
Well, it's a better Xbox 360. Runs off caviar.
Yeah, grain weight is a little bit higher. But,
well, at least we know now when this is coming out, since with the 2 months of rumor buildup we had for it, we knew it was coming out sometime.
We can hurry up and not buy it.
Hey.
Yay.
Because we've all just joined the regular club, and regular is better.
Yes. Oh, by the way, Betsy is back with us for this podcast.
Yeah, apparently.
Just in case anybody was annoyed by the cat last time, here's your chance to do it again.
Nothing like a little pussy in the podcast.
Can I help you?
Hi-yo!
Apparently the cat is planning on teaching me how to use GarageBand today.
Yes. I just see a tail
How much do you
across
think the cat has to teach you about it?
Well, it uses one mouse button, so should
all
be
right.
okay.
Anyway,
So
Enough about the cat.
all right. Next up, Final
pussy aside.
Fantasy 13 may not remain exclusive.
Yeah.
Gasp.
Well,
Two
since
things
we
here.
have to wait for a while for it to come out, we'll see if the PS3 tanks before then or not.
Yeah, news bit 2A, who's surprised? News bit 2B, who cares?
Yeah. So, well, with a franchise that sells, 4 million copies, 4 to 5 million copies, there are a few companies that might care.
Yeah, but none of those people matter.
And anybody who buys a console for games that aren't out yet is retarded.
Yeah.
Or rich.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I don't think those things are mutually
So,
exclusive.
so PlayStation 3 owners, how are you enjoying that copy of Motocross?
Huh?
What is it, MotorStorm?
Motorstorm.
Yeah.
Shows how much
Excite
we
Bike.
care.
Yeah, Excite Bike.
In 3D.
Yeah. By the way, Punch-Out came out on the Virtual Console today.
Yay, buying games I've played before. Sweet.
Yeah.
So, next up.
20 years ago.
Yeah. So, next, the PlayStation 3 20-gigabyte model goes away.
Apparently, the actual rumor is it goes away in the sense that it never was really here.
Yeah. So people were like, "Oh, we're just going to buy the more expensive one anyway," and somebody's like,
Well, it never really sold, so I guess it's the same difference.
Yeah.
Sony really didn't make many of them either.
Yeah.
They could probably take them back, retrofit them with 60 gigs, and send them back out again. So I'm sure they all came from the same base model.
Yeah, that's true. Just drill a hole for another HDMI port?
Did anybody here ever actually see a 20-gigabyte PlayStation 3?
If I did, I don't remember it.
There were some out there, but I think they were shipping one for every 4 or 5 of the 60-gig models or something. It was really imbalanced, and was more just so they could say it was a $500 console.
Yeah, apparantly at Best Buy they formed the pillar of the stack of 60 gigs.
It was the load
so you
bearing.
actually saw them.
They
They were the structural keystones to the pile.
They were the in-wall struts.
But I want the 20 gig, Dad. I'm gonna have to get my manager. It's buried under others.
Get the crane. Beep, 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 beep. All right.
Need all extra plays to the pile of 360s,
Yeah.
PS3s.
So, next up, Katamari Damacy announced for the Wii. There's a joke in here somewhere.
So,
Yeah.
I guess it's going to be like, what, monkey ball controls?
I don't think so. Monkey Ball is kind of reverse of what I expected it to be. I got a feeling this is going to use the nunchuck and probably the remote in a weird forward motion.
Like tank controls?
I don't know. Tank controls would be kind of cool, actually.
I mean, that's what it is with the sticks, but how would they translate that to the nunchuck and the Wii?
I don't know.
That seems pretty weird.
Monkey Ball made you the platform. You weren't the ball, so it was more like Marble Madness.
Well, that's how the analog stick worked in it before. So, I mean, it was a pretty, straightforward translation.
So, interesting news. Next up, Sega Saturn games rumored for the Wii Virtual Console. This is just rumor, so...
That would be pretty exciting, actually.
They've already got Sega on board, so really
I'd so
they just
download
need to
Battle
put the work
Gorega.
in.
Yeah.
I doubt that would be their first choice.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Save me about $100.
So next up, and this is kind of big news, Knights sequel confirmed on the Wii.
Oh, yeah.
So people have been wanting a sequel to Knights for a very long time, and now they get it.
And I think that little thing they did on their website about which game would you like to see us do next had some sort of influence.
So
a lot of Knights people responding, apparently.
Yeah.
Although I'm going to have to believe it's going to be a totally different gameplay kind of thing if they're going to be using the Wii controls for it.
Well,
the game that was originally made the analog stick work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it could really add to it.
So, well, we'll see when it comes out. Next up, Ketsui to be released on the Nintendo DS?
Yeah, this is kind of interesting.
There was a Ketsui demo.
I'm just glad we're not talking about the witch touching game.
No, that's another topic.
Thank you, SNK.
Hey, I'm very interested in that game for no apparent reason.
How close do you live to your nearest school?
I can't.
3 blocks away, I think.
Can't comment on. Well, there are no witches at that school, so they're safe.
Oh, you've already inspected them all, huh?
This is probably a good time to keep my mouth shut.
I know nothing. I was a single child.
So there was a video of it on YouTube, and someone was playing like the third boss, and it was like just the fact that it was on a system we didn't expect it to be on, and it ran for the most part pretty close to the arcade.
Yeah, it did look good.
We'll have to see. Hopefully they'll tighten up the controllers because the D-pad on the DS sucks.
Anything that uses both of those screens together in a Tate mode is just too cool.
Well, it was only using one of the screens. It was like Yoko mode.
Yeah.
So
I'd be positively sold on it if they did a Tate with both screens. That would really be the best. That'd be awesome.
We will see. Next up, Ninja Gaiden DS revealed, which basically means now you have an ungodly hard game for your DS.
Yeah. Hand cramping all the faster.
I suppose so. Kind of odd to take a game that they reinvented for, showing off graphical prowess and take it to the DS, though.
Well,
they're claiming this is an entirely different game from
but you'll be able to touch
prior, though. It's something totally new.
Something
I would
on
bet
it.
it would be, much more of a Shinobi kind of throwback.
Yeah.
old
Which isn't
school
bad. I
Ninja
fucking
Gaiden
love
and
Shinobi.
everything.
Shinobi and Ninja Gaiden were classics. Which need to come out on the Virtual Console.
Yeah. So, next up, an update for some news that we did, I think it was our 20th podcast. The Wii Water thing.
Incident.
The no charges were filed in the Wii Water radio station drinking contest.
So we'll mention again at the end of the civil suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, not a big surprise there. Next up, the PSP drops in price. It's now $179.99.
So our hope is this is a prelude to a redesign. It's been a while since it came out, so
There's been quite a few rumors about it too.
Yeah, there have been a lot of rumors about the redesign. Hopefully they will,
Get smaller.
I don't know if it could get any smaller than what it is.
might be
Yeah.
able to get it a little thinner.
Yeah.
The thickness doesn't bother me. It's the buttons and the control pad.
Yeah.
And
I'd
the,
really
and the
like
analog
to see a
nub.
way they could make the almost, I don't know, a la Wonder Swan or maybe Atari Jaguar, make the long screen work better, the Tate mode for the shooters they have, or shmups
Yeah.
they have on there.
There,
Yeah.
It's
The
just
problem with
impossible to
making that
control
work is
that
the,
thing if you're doing a shmup on there.
I think the problem with that is the triggers.
yeah. And the fact that Kutaragi was, well, let's make it really pretty, but let's not put any type of real design in it at all as far as...
Yeah, it's aesthetically
comfort,
pleasing, but
yeah.
that was about it.
So, next up, Sega stopped support for the Saturn and the Dreamcast. So the dream is over.
Wow.
The
For the
thrill
Saturn
is
and the
gone.
Dreamcast?
Yeah,
did
they are
cancel
no
support
longer
at the
making
same
or...
time?
Yes.
But the Saturn was still supported in one sense of the word?
Yeah,
whoa,
still in
wow.
Japan. It was still supported in Japan, and so was the Dreamcast.
Was it the last Saturn game to come out like 4 years ago? I mean,
It might be even more recent than that. I'm
I
sure
don't
I'll be
remember a
corrected
Saturn
on
game.
that, but
how many came out after Panzer Dragoon and
well, at least in Japan,
Burning
a bunch of
Rangers.
games came out after we saw our last games in this country. So it still had a pretty good life, after those games.
In places that weren't here. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the United States never got really good
yeah?
Saturn software to begin with, which
Or
could explain the.
Dreamcast, but hey.
Well, let's not go into the Dreamcast. A system that had potential, it was never realized.
Indeed.
So, next up, a anime game coming out, Fate Stay Night fighting game coming out, and it's called Fate Stay Night Realta Nua, which
Thank you, our
means
Greek friends.
nothing, I'm sure.
So now that we don't cover the weekly Famitsu scores anymore, we won't pay attention when this sucks.
Well, actually, it is a fighting game that Capcom is working on, which might make it not suck
Come
as
on,
much.
it's a licensed anime game.
Hey,
Yeah, and I had high hopes for Spectral versus Generations, but that pretty much
yeah, but that
sucked.
wasn't based off an anime or a visual novel.
No, but it was made
based
by
off-
Capcom.
Because that makes
No, it
a
wasn't.
difference.
Wasn't that a Capcom
No,
game?
it's not.
Oh, my bad. It just
But,
sucked from some other company then.
Yeah. But we'll see when it comes out. I'm hoping it ends up like Melty Blood. But yeah. And finally, Senko no Rond, coming stateside May 22nd, 2007.
Yeah,
will be
buddy.
called Wartech in this country.
Why
With
can't they
bad
leave things
artwork, we don't
alone?
know about bad localization as far as voices.
It's like America. I gotta go fuck with something else.
It's not like
Just not
Senko
happy
no
enough with
Ronde
the name.
means anything, though.
Yeah.
It's French.
Yes. It's French for doesn't mean anything.
Thus, we must put bad artwork on the cover.
That's almost as exciting as Cultcept.
Hey, well, at least that's coming out in this country, too.
Yeah, that is exciting.
So, okay, so that does it for the news bits. Next up, our topics. Actually, our topic. We only have one.
We're limiting ourselves.
Yeah, it's
So
called...
it's a one pick?
One pick. Yes.
One pick.
Yes. Well, that would be a two-pick, then, wouldn't it? If it was more than one pick?
No,
Topic?
that'd be a die pick. And
Quiet you!
So, we're going to go
don't
into...
nitpick.
So our topic is, why does Nintendo still have the young kid stigma, and does it help them or hurt them?
Well, for one thing, why are you calling it a stigma? 'Cause
Yeah, I don't-
It's like total bias on the helper.
Yeah,
Well,
I
no.
think that Nintendo kind of really wants that quote-unquote stigma.
You think so?
I don't think
Why
so.
would they want that? I mean,
Because that's the kind of games they make.
Yeah.
well, okay, well they're pushing to get like mature
to be a
games out.
family game.
Well, I
Yeah,
understand
but-
that, but why are they trying to push so hard to get these mature games out on the Wii? I mean, they're trying to get Rockstar to make Grand Theft Auto on the Wii.
Well, the only reason they're making that is want to make that on the Wii is because, huge title. It's
that's
not like they're
guaranteed
going
income,
after, like,
yeah.
you know, well, we want to make sure and get Leisure Suit Larry on the Virtual Console.
Plus, it kind of brings them up to even with the other two consoles. I mean, now you've got a choice.
It can only make them money.
Yeah, same with Godfather. And
So you think it has nothing to do with trying to make themselves look more grown up? It's just a matter of just what's going to generate money.
No, their entire thing for the Wii, their entire media marketing campaign has been, look at how much you can play with this with your family.
Their image is family-friendly. They want to be a family-friendly company. If they happen to get some of this other stuff as ports from other consoles, they're just happy about it. But it's never going to be a central part of their marketing.
not only that, they want to
who
bring
they want
culture
to
to
be.
your home by sending Japanese men to your home to play the games with you.
Yes.
Sweet.
They just want to take upskirt photos of
In
your
strangely
mom.
small cars.
No, they're doing a game show that we don't know about.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they still have the image of being, for children and being family-friendly because that's the image they're trying to portray.
Yeah.
And they're spending millions of dollars
That's a
to
guaranteed
get it.
image. I mean, that image is guaranteed to make the money, though, one way or the other. The mature thing is just, catching other people on the back end, that other core audience that maybe not as big, but, brings them into the game.
Well, and
the console.
they want that part of the market because nobody else has that part of the market.
Yeah, they
So-
certainly, think it helps them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be using that as their differentiating point.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt in the money part of it.
They're the cheapest console out there right now, too, so... that's
Plus,
well,
yeah,
definitely
well,
more
with the
kid-friendly
PS3,
to
you
start
look
with.
at
Next gen in quotes, because the Wii's just sort of weirded on its own.
Yeah.
It's GameCube plus more.
The cheapest game console to be released in the last 2 years.
Well, with the PS3 too, you can either afford to buy a PS3 or afford to have a family, one of the two. So they kind of price themselves out of that market
If you had a family in Nigeria for, a decade.
for a decade, or you can buy a Wii or PS3.
Yeah.
So, where did the whole young kid thing come from for Nintendo? I think
What do you
wasn't
mean?
it around.
That's like day one.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
Super
wasn't it
Mario
like
Brothers
around?
was kind of the beginning, wasn't it?
No, I think it was when the Genesis came out, and they came out with all those ads claiming that Nintendo was the kiddie console, and then it just stuck with that.
Well,
Or at least that's what I remember.
I don't really
That
think
may
so
be like what
because
you saw on TV, but I think it's always been there. We've always known they were.
it's
a
always been
kid-friendly
marketed for kids. I
console.
mean, if it wasn't the case, then the Go 13 wouldn't have been a standout. Like, what the hell are you publishing this for? Game for the NES? It's like, oh, look at this! Then you got Legend of Zelda, and you have Super Mario Brothers, and you have Go 13 International Assassin. What?
And Nintendo's never really left behind that same art style that they've had since the days of the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, but that's just Nintendo as a first-party company. That doesn't necessarily. Well,
They stick
I
with
take
what
that back
works.
because Nintendo was very restrictive when it came to content
And also,
on their systems.
Well,
at
their
the point
licenses
we're at
were-
now, the only exclusive titles that we're really seeing are first-party titles, and those are really defining the console. So I think that's more true than ever now.
Huh. Because Steve brings up a good point with, Golgo 13 came out on the NES, and then, what was it, Bionic Commando, where you had to, blow up Hitler? I'm serious, it was Hitler, and he's like, you damn... At the end of the game, he's like, you damn fool, and you launch a bazooka in the helicopter cockpit, and you see his head explode.
Wasn't
Nope.
that edited for the U.S.? though?
No, it wasn't. Although...
I thought they changed
I don't
Hitler
remember
to
that
something
for-
else. Or took
Well,
some
they...
I don't remember
Okay,
that for
here...
Bionic Commando
The,
in the US. That was
The
that
Japanese-
was literally 25 years ago. So
Yeah. Well, they didn't call it. I mean, the Japanese game was, top secret. The resurrection of Hitler or something like that, and the swastikas and all the Nazi imagery was removed. However, the American version, they renamed it Bionic Commando, but for the most part, everything else stayed the same. And when you saw the final boss, and it's like, wow, he looks like Hitler. A lot like Hitler. Why did I just make his head explode?
And I think there's a whole thing, though, that, when people think about the consoles, I mean, a lot of people only buy a couple of games for their consoles, and there's games that are so big that they identify with the console and give the image for it. And you, look at the PlayStation 2, and it's Metal Gear Solid. You got this gruff guy with a knife who kills people. Halo, you've
Final
got,
Fantasy.
Master Chief, goes around, shoots aliens, kills a bunch of people. GameCube, it was Super Smash Brothers. you had cartoon characters hitting each other with big mallets. There's definitely a difference in image.
And I'm sure Nintendo's always been with that kid image because that's like 80% of their market, but that doesn't stop them from going after that other 20% of the off market.
It sells.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's
they
guaranteed.
put those
Like
games out,
gangbusters.
But
those
they've got to
hard
realize
games
there's
are not
still
going to change your image or
Yeah,
what
but
people think
that
of
other
when they're
20%
thinking.
is still money they could be making. So why not go after that too and make?
Well,
it
there's no reason why not try to get like the big blockbuster
Yeah.
titles for your console.
Is that
That's
what?
just worth doing because you're going to make money off those.
Is that why you don't like Nintendo, John?
Hmm?
Because they're like kiddies for kids, just for kids.
Never said I don't like Nintendo.
I also tend to wonder. If
I
that
don't
they
tend to play Nintendo just because they mostly have games I'm not interested in playing.
Yeah,
But
I haven't
I think
bought
that-
a Wii either. But
I don't think it's just about the.
Well, actually, you do have a Wii. That's
yes, I have the Wii that I piss out of, and I can shake it around.
Oh
and
no,
have
we can't
fun.
put this on the Wii. You've introduced adult content.
But I don't usually stand in front of the television and wave it around.
Anyways, getting back to topic.
Not usually, but sometimes.
Getting back to topic.
There's-
Thank you very much.
There's no topic.
I think that also it's not just about making the money, but I don't think they want to be left out of the loop. I don't think that they want people going to the store and saying, well, I'll pick between the PS3 and the Xbox 360 because both of them have this game on it. But the Wii doesn't carry that kind of game or doesn't carry that game also. If they all three carry it, it's just one more viable option for them to buy. And it may be the selling thing, too. I mean, it may be that other bonus that's like, well, yeah, it's got this, too. I guess I'll get the Wii because it's cheaper and it has this game that I like. And it's not just a total kid game or kid system. So, I mean, it guarantees the money, but it also gives you that other option of, yeah, well, I can get the game on here, too. Granted, it doesn't look as good, but it is an option on there.
yeah.
And maybe the Wii will catch that person's eye because it offers just a little bit different way to play the game.
Yeah, I
don't know.
I was watching the video for Scarface on the Wii, and although I despise the film with, my heart of hearts, I saw the game and it had all the cursing and all the violence and everything like that, and I'm like, I can see where, they would want this type of game to come out just because,
It's got Tony Montana.
Well, I think it's more of just they're just trying to get that 18 to 25 demographic, which isn't going to mean anything because you can't buy a Wii anyway. They're all gone.
Yeah.
So that market that they want, they may not get just simply because the systems aren't available.
Well, we're not asking, if Nintendo would like to sell a Wii to everyone on the planet.
Well-
They'd like to.
They just can't produce them fast enough.
But that's never going to... I mean, there's no indication that that's going to change their image or that they're going to change that kid stigma even when they put out these other games, because it's not going to be the ones they promote the most. It's not going to be the ones that, come up in the commercials for it. They'll be there. I'm sure you'll be able to, get them for it. But I don't think it's going to do anything to change that image, and I don't think Nintendo wants to change that image.
Okay. All right. So that does it for our topic. Next up, we have our game reviews. And I am going to start, and I will try to keep it short.
Do we get to pull out the stopwatch again? That was pretty fun.
If I was doing, more than one review at a time, I would probably consider that, but I am only doing one review today.
Damn.
Wait, I don't know whether to cheer for that or...
I don't know. I
Be
think that means his
disappointed.
multiple reviews are faster than his single reviews.
No respect. So I'm going to talk about the obscure Genesis game ALISIA DRAGOON, and it is a single-player game, and it's made by two of our good friends, Game Arts, who did Grandia and the Lunar series, and also Gainax. And when I mean Gainax, I'm talking about the animation company Gainax. They actually produced video games back in the day. So basically, it is a standard platform style game, run, jump, blow stuff up with lightning. However, as you attack, your lightning level gradually decreases, and you have to stop attacking for a while, rebuild your lightning level, and then go back and attack. So you can't just go through the game and just keep pressing down your attack button. It doesn't work that way. Also, you have a choice of familiars: dragon, living ball of fire, a thunderbird, a lizard, and you can build those characters up as well as building up your own lightning-based attacks. So graphically, it's a pretty good representation of what was typical in the 16-bit era. I mean, graphics are clean. There's really no issues with the control. The music is actually pretty good for the time it came out, even though some of the Genesis music I didn't really care for. I preferred the sound chips off the Super Nintendo, but for the most part it was okay. And the game overall was a decent game, but a little bit on the hard side toward the end. You really had to be a perfectionist in the game. You couldn't just blow stuff up and hope you get lucky. You had to actually have some skill to beat the game. But otherwise, great graphic style, pretty decent game. Little hard to come by now. I would expect to see it on eBay about, I'd say $30, maybe $30-$40. I would say the game is probably worth $20-$25. So that's it for that review.
Not available on the Virtual Console?
Not yet, although it might.
Give it time.
Yeah, I mean, we've been getting some pretty obscure games coming out on the Virtual Console
World
lately.
Rules.
I mean, Bonk's Revenge came out today, so, even though that's not obscure, but still.
It's
Well,
right, another
it's
4 months, we'll
relatively
get the third
obscure.
one.
I mean, what was that, a TG-16 game?
Yeah.
That's fairly obscure for your mainstream gaming these days.
That was a huge title on the TG-16. So.
Yeah, but it's not for today's mainstream gamers.
Nah, but you look at they're bringing back huge titles from all the prior consoles like that, so that's just another one in the line.
Yeah, but your 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old gamer these days has never heard of Bonks.
No reason they can't learn.
Well, I'm just saying, it's relatively obscure if it's not us.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, but how many fanboys out there are buying their systems? People that have been buying them for years. A little bit of nostalgia there, and you have to go back and find your old TG-16 or PC Engine and dig it out.
Or download one of the many free emulators off the internet.
Yeah.
Interwebs.
Diehard Gamer Radio does not endorse what John just said.
God, we love MAME. Oh.
We in no way love the MAME emulators, which we all have.
I've never heard of MAME. Now, excuse me while I go.
It's one of my
play
favorite Penny
Counts.
Arcade things from the second book, where he's talking about he's railing against Napster. He's like, what about all those ROMs that you have? It says trying to get your point across to somebody is very difficult when they simply don't care.
Yeah. So, next up, Brian has a review of a DS game. What is it?
It's a game called Scourge Hive. It's actually a port of a GBA game that was done here also by same game, basically, South Peak Interactive, which I think is an American company.
Now, what type of game is this?
That's kind of interesting. It's a third... it's like a overhead 3D, like a 30-degree view platformer / RPG. And you're this woman bounty hunter, a la like Metroid. You go off to this planet to, stop this invasion. And it's not an invasion, but it's like a scourge. It's an organism that was being contained by a scientific group there, and it gets out of control, and you've got to go rescue the few people there and stop it. And so you run around this planet trying to solve basic puzzles, and you do it in a platform sense. You can pick up multiple add-ons to your gauntlet so that you have a freeze ray and an electronic ray, and each one responds differently.
Is this like a run and jump type game, or is this
a
more
little
like
bit,
Gauntlet?
but you build up your weapons as you go too. So it's more like Metroid in a 3D aspect.
Okay.
And it's cute. It's well drawn. I mean, the pixels are great. It's kind of nostalgic, but still at the same time clean and new and fun. And it's a rare game for the DS that I didn't even know had been ported out to it until I caught it on a top 10 list of oddball games, and it caught my eye. I just had never noticed it up until then for some reason. And there weren't a lot of copies of it out there, and all of a sudden places like Wally World and Target were just having copies come in, and they dropped it in price down to about $20 right now, and I think that's pretty reasonable for a DS game that's of good quality. And
Is that how much it's worth?
yeah, I really think it is probably $15 to $20 worth. I would say it's definitely a good game for the system. It utilizes both screens well. The top screen is your action screen. The bottom screen is your health meter, and you can touch that and actually switch between the map. There's a map section. You can move the map freely around and see what you're looking for. And it's kind of neat in the sense that it adds that RPG element to an existing platformer. But I think it's a great game, and I think it's definitely an oddball to have in the collection, and something fun that doesn't take, a huge amount of time to go through, and is, something to kind of get your mind off things. It doesn't have to be a complex game.
Okay.
Shows that simple games are still fun,
Okay, cool. John, do you have a review for us?
Well, speaking of simple games that are still fun, a game I've been playing recently is Earth Defense Force 2017 on the Xbox 360.
Is this the one with the giant bugs?
It does have giant bugs.
Kill them
Basically,
bugs!
You're playing a character that has to defend Earth from alien invaders amidst your favorite B-movie plot lines.
You are the Starship Trooper.
Now,
Bug hunt, man! A bug hunt!
So I know that this was one of the simple 3 billion series that came out in this country.
Oh, well, kind of. There was Earth Defense 1 and 2 that were both PlayStation games from the same company, or PlayStation 2 games.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know if Earth Defense Force 1 was PlayStation 1 or 2. But yeah, they were in the Simple 2000 series. It's been fairly long running. As far as I know, this is the first one to come out in the U.S. It's a very simple game. I mean, it's got recycled environments, recycled weapons, recycled enemies. There's only 4 enemies for the whole thing, really.
It's simple, I tell you.
The missions usually take 5 or 10 minutes and are all variations of go to a place and shoot a bunch of stuff. So really the amazing thing about it is this game manages to be fun despite all of that. But it's a very straightforward shooting game. It's got a great co-op mode. It's got an addictive unlocking thing as you've got 180 some weapons that you can collect as you go through and you get them randomly. A lot of gradations in the difficulty level, so you can keep going through the game. But mainly it's just these bite-sized chunks that are a lot of fun to go through and blow up a silly city and kill a bunch of giant bugs and have some cheesy voice acting in the background telling you what you're doing.
So for how much did you pay for this game?
It was a $40 bargain title. That's which seems to be the new bargain price point for the next generation stuff. Since apparently $30 went through the same $10 price increase as normal games went to for joys of next gen. I think if you've got somebody to play this game with, that it's definitely a $40 title. And it's a lot of fun. And it's hard to explain why, because the game really is that deficient in so many aspects.
But that might be its strength.
To capture the simple joy of shooting giant bugs.
But these are some of the best games on multiplayer, though. Which seems to be held in line with what the 360 does best, is pumping out multiplayer games.
So its deficiency is definitely its strong points.
I just think they're not important for the gameplay, really.
It's got more of that arcade feel that you just enjoy playing, no matter how
it's like,
and repetitive.
Here's the game, play it, and shut up.
It is worth noting that the co-op is split screen only and does not work over Xbox Live.
Well, that's kind of a disappointment.
Probably one of its biggest deficiencies.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been cool to play online. I mean,
especially on a big screen.
Yeah. Okay, so worth $40 if you can get someone else. If it's just single, how much?
I haven't played the single player nearly as much, so I don't have a good feel for it at this point. But
okay.
I definitely think it would lose something when you don't have somebody else to laugh at the bad voice acting with.
Okay. Well, that's why we have Steve, to laugh at bad voice acting.
Sure.
So, Steve, you have anything for us?
I can give you a quick run-through on our inaugural PC review, because I've been playing Burning Crusade.
Oh, yes. Before we begin, we will be doing PC stuff as of the next podcast.
Maybe.
Sometimes.
Well,
yeah, we'll
be
one
doing
of us.
Apparently it's
as
PC
of
stuff
now.
as of now, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So tell us
Even though
about...
some of us wanted to do it earlier.
Well, I had to warm up to it.
Warm up to the idea. Kind of snuggle
Like a
up
486
Snuggle
on
up
a
there.
cold winter's day.
Are you spooning with your Pentium?
Yes, I'm tempering it. So tell us about this hemorrhoid sim, Burning Crusade.
Hemorrhoid Sim, Burning Crusade, yes. Burning Crusade expansion, first commercial in retail expansion for World of Warcraft. Basically, they made it look prettier and gave you 2 new races. They gave the Horde a non-furry race.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Do it for the Horde.
They gave them the Horde gets the Blood Elves, and the Alliance got this race called the Draenei, which are kind of centaurs, but not really. They're more like satyrs. But
Sadly, not giant pandas.
they're not giant pandas. They're aliens, though. They actually have a ship that crash lands on Azeroth, and parts of their ship are laying all over the island and polluting the ecosystem, and it's pretty cool. A lot of the rivers turn purple because the cooling stuff is leaking from the engine. So, yeah. And it, other than the goodies that it adds on and the fact that it moves the top level that you can achieve from 60 to 70, they also the levels from 1 to 20, which are basically the newbie levels with the newbie quests, that shows that Blizzard has really gained some has really learned some stuff from the newbie quests from the original game, because you actually, when I did the Draenei from 1 to 20, I did our Draenei Hunter. I didn't have to buy a single piece of armor or a single piece of weaponry until I got to level 20. All the quests were actually able to do that. So, the whole killing stuff and spending money without any storyline, really kind of minimal with those races. They haven't gone back and actually finished or, fixed it up for the other races.
I was about to ask that.
They have not done that. I really hope that they do, because I was playing through the first 20 for the Night Elves, and it's significantly more tedious at times because the weapons that you get from the NPC quest givers just aren't as good. Yeah, you end up having to buy stuff from vendors and stuff. So,
how good is Blizzard with balancing issues?
Well, it depends on who you ask. I mean, I think
so if I ask Blizzard, they'll say, "Oh yes, we're just great."
Well, I mean, there are some things, obviously, in every MMO. Balance issues are always an ongoing thing. Somebody's always screaming.
Always find out on the forums because everybody's complaining about. And
yeah, except for the fact that basically a lot of the people that scream the loudest are just annoyed because their class isn't the best. How come my class doesn't do the most DPS? Well, that's because you're a healer class.
Yeah, your job is to sit in the background and wait for other people to bitch at you to heal them.
Well, and they want the tanks to also have the highest DPS, and it's like, you know what? No, because then everybody would just be that class.
Yeah.
There'd be no reason to be any other class.
And you've got a game this popular and with so many people playing it too. If you leave any edge on there, somebody will find it and will spend 3 days straight tweaking a character just to exploit that one edge.
And it really depends on the background of the person who's complaining. Because I've read some people that are complaining about how the Hunter class is broken, and they haven't seen broken until they had to play a Ranger in Dark Age of Camelot. It's like, oh, by the way, you can be interrupted constantly. Your critical strike shot special ability is totally negated by the mage's ability to blade turn the first attack on them. So yeah, you're a pretty useless character. Thanks for playing. And they just fixed that up about 3 months ago.
For a game that's, 5 years old now?
For a game that's 5 years old. Interestingly enough, on that note...
You cannot beta test these kind of games enough, apparently.
Well, and Dark Age of Camelot had the fortune or misfortune, as the case may be, to be the first one to try to improve on EverQuest and do it on any sort of scale. But apparently in Dark Age of Camelot now, the dragons, the epic dragon mobs, have been known to leave their lairs and go and destroy towns.
Nice.
Which is
a challenge.
Well, apparently, obviously Dark Age of Camelot, new player flow, not so high anymore.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter if a dragon shows up.
This is a great game.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's a dragon!
Exactly. They're apparently trying to find reasons to have people use other parts of the world again, and one of those is that the dragons sometimes set up shop in newbie towns. And so you'll walk through a town and where the dragon is left, and there's just green smoke over ruined buildings and stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool because these mobs only exist in this little part of the world. They never leave that spot. seems a little bit, contrived. But so, it's worthwhile if you like.
Not so good if you're part of the Assassin's Guild.
So you can actually
town.
you don't have to if you're a newbie and you're playing one of the traditional races. You don't actually have to get that upgrade. You can play all that stuff. You just can't get to level 70 and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get into certain areas or not, but
So
it's not absolutely necessary to. If between 1 and 60, if you're playing one of the original 10 races, totally not necessary to pick this up.
Didn't they add like a whole new dimensional portal world?
Yeah, they've got the Outland thing for the 60 through 70s, but there's no way that anybody, below 60 is going to ever need to go in there. So, you can
What do
start
those
playing with
offer?
your
They just
old
have-
copy. I mean, I've got my copy is like the first week released copy, and, I just have to download a gazillion megabytes of updates, and then although I got to
That's
say
the equivalent of the save game from your.
Yeah, well, the BitTorrent actually for updates is actually a lot better now than it used to be. It used to be, it took a day to get the updates for it. Now it's pretty damn fast. So
That's good to hear. They finally worked that out.
yeah,
Maybe they gave up on writing their
Especially
own
for the
BitTorrent
new-
file.
yeah. Maybe they just use the old BitTorrent. Hey, let's use that guy. Where's that guy? Bram? What's that guy's name? Give him a call and see if we can get this BitTorrent thing working.
So how much is Burning Crusade?
$40.
Is it worth $40?
Yeah, if you like World of Warcraft. Not
Apparently,
if
it
you
was
don't.
to about a couple million people.
Yeah.
That seems pretty expensive for an expansion, but I guess all of
That's
that
a little
is really
high, yeah.
dwarfed by the monthly cost anyway. If you're
Yeah,
paying
yeah.
for a significant period.
How much?
Well, that and I mean it's $40, but at least they're not just saying, oh, whatever. Here's your 2 new races, and you can get into new areas. They actually did do,
I will say
graphical
they put an
upgrades and
impressive
stuff like
amount
that,
of
so.
updates and
They did
patching
graphics
out,
engine
so
upgrades apparently. So
they don't-
What's the price on the monthly access for World of
it's
Warcraft?
$13 or something.
Huh.
So pretty
Do
much
they
around
offer
that
a
industry
deal?
Standard $15 a month.
Yeah,
Do they offer a deal if you do it for multiple months, kind of like Eve does, where you can do it for 3 months or 6 months, and then you get a better deal?
probably.
That seems to be if you know you're guaranteed to play this game
However,
for a year, that's really the way to go.
You cannot pay for your subscription with ISK like an Eve, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was nifty, yeah.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that we need to add before we end this podcast?
Hey, Brian, what was the name of that thing that Albert was looking at? That shmup that he was showing the super play for?
Danmaku, I think.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But it was a kind of a neat forum where you could go buy and see shareware of shooters, shmups on the web. All sorts of core shmups, things that people are doing that are probably never going to hit mainstream, but are just amazing. It's kind of where like Tamuki Fighters and things of that nature have come from. And you actually go and buy these games from these people online.
Did you hear Tamuki Fighters might be coming out on the Wii?
Oh, yeah. No, it's coming out on the Xbox Live Arcade.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was one of those.
Yeah, I'm totally looking forward to that. I love playing that on my PC. I think it's going to be even more fun on the arcade. So, yeah, definitely. In fact, I'm going to talk to Albert about that and get him to send me the links so that I can get into that. Because some of he was showing me some of the shmups on that on his PC or his laptop, and I was just blown away by the bullet patterns.
I've got some of them like from the top.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
the
got
bullet
some
hells were pretty
amazing-
impressive on that.
What was
the
even
super
more
play.
impressive
It's
was
probably
watching
like-
this guy in a super play just avoid all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's probably from like Imperishable Night or some of.
That was actually one of the ones he showed me.
Yeah, there's that
blew my
Dojin,
mind.
That Dojin group does a lot of that stuff. I know where the downloads are for that, so I'll
Yeah, that would be worth getting into it. Maybe even doing a little section for shmups on, kind of offbeat. Since
Okay.
we're getting into PC anyways, that'd be a nice little add-on, I think.
Okay. A quick show note, I had mentioned before, we're going to be adding some PC content, but we also are thinking of adding some video content to the website that may show up eventually.
We don't know what
Damn,
it
they're
is.
going to know what we look like?
No, we're all going to wear masks.
Yeah,
that's a
you
good
be
plan.
Nixon, I'll be Kennedy, and
It'll be like
You could be
Point
Carter.
Break.
I want to be Eisenhower.
yeah, but I want to be Roosevelt.
Maybe I'm going to rob the bank.
I want to be Garfield.
I am not a crook.
I hate Mondays.
Wrong. That'd be awesome.
Wrong Garfield.
That'd be a hilarious little joke where if you had a bunch of people robbing a bank and you had Nixon and Reagan and whoever, and then somebody in a Garfield mask, the cat, and what the hell, Garfield? Okay.
It definitely take people's minds off the other three.
I just like to have a president nobody recognized, like Taft or something.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like-
Yeah. Hoover. What the hell is Hoover? Look, that's Hoover? I don't remember Hoover.
Yeah.
Van Buren. Oh, I reckon. What? Who?
Adams?
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Die Hard Gamer Radio, and join us again next time.
It's a wrap. Play the HBO music.
Thank you for listening to Die Hard Gamer Radio. You can visit our website at diehardgamerradio.com and iTunes, or you can email us at diehardgamerradio@gmail.com.